Okay, with that said, guys, that's gonna be my tier list. Once again, that's not Bastet, that's actually Isis right there at the top, right there next to Aether. That's gonna be your two best bang for your buck on your pitchers. They're RRR tier to me. You cannot go wrong with them. They're gonna be there for your mid game, your end game, your all game. Definitely invest in them, and you definitely are very, very valuable. Some of the best pitchers in the game that you can have. My RR tier, I have Ceres, I have Ditto, I have Lilith, I have Violet, I have Belita, and I have Valentine. Those are going to be your RR tiers. They are your great trainers. You want to invest in them, get multiple uses from mid to end game as well. These trainers still will be in your end game. You cannot go wrong with having them in your deck. They'll still be available for your end game as well. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Jonadu, and I'm coming back at you with another Baseball Superstars 2021 video. I apologize, my boys. I haven't been on this in a minute. I have been down. I've been sick. Have not been feeling too well, and I've been sick for like 2 to 3 weeks. It's not COVID related, but I've been sick. Been wanting to get back on it and do some stuff, but I just haven't been able to, unfortunately, because I've been under the weather. But I am back, my boys. We is finna get back crack-a-lacking. Apologize for missing, but I do have an excuse. So here's my doctor's note to you guys. But I'm back at it. So what I want to do and what I want to talk about today is we're going to do a pitcher UR tier list. Only URs, only pitching, and that's what we're going to do, use, and talk about today. Now I want to explain how my tier list is going to work. Anything from R to RR is great trainers that you definitely want to spend, definitely want to invest in if you can get. So anything from R to RR, great. Anything S and A, nah, you don't want them. But R to RR is great. Now remember, this is a pitcher tier UR list only. Only URs. We're not gonna waste time on the SSSRs. Okay. So let's get started, my boys. First one I want to talk about, first one we are going to discuss is, we're just gonna pit Psyker right there, and I think you guys know where he's going, right at the bottom on that A tier list. Psyker is a terrible trainer. He's a skill point trainer as well. He has absolutely no uses in the meta. He used to be really good back in the day when it was River City. You know, you would run him sometimes with the Kunio to get special perks and everything. But times have changed now, and River City is no longer king. And Psyker suffers from that. Especially being a skill point trainer where most people just put on a god book in order to get their skill points anyway. His skill set is really bad. I mean, you'll be better using the SSR Allen than you ever would be using Psyker. And the thing is, Psyker sort of matches good with Allen, but they're both skill point trainers, so then you really suffer in any deck that you try to use with him. Just a terrible trainer. Has no use at all. You don't see him in any type of decks. So Psyker to me is definitely at the bottom of the barrel. One of the worst trainers in game. I would not invest in him at all. Violet. For me, Violet is RR tier, and she might like be in between. Like she might be a RR tier plus. Violet's a really good trainer. You can actually use her in the Elf Town trainers as well. If you want to go for billionaire, you just substitute Violet for another trainer, and especially in a relief pitching deck, she works really well. Um, really good trainer. She's the only gold pitching trainer. She provides a UR ball as well. You get game reward up, get training reward all. I mean, she's just amazing on the things that she brings to the table. You know what? We're gonna actually put her. Nah, we're gonna keep her in the RR. But she's really amazing with everything she brings to the table. If she was Elf Town, she would definitely be in triple R. But she's MU, so she doesn't bring those extra perks, basically the meta perks. But everything she brings to the table, she's so freaking amazing. Definitely a trainer that you would want. So definitely gonna be in my RR tier. Cuneo. How the mighty have fallen. I'm gonna put him in R tier. Cause I mean he's still a good trainer. Now you can't get Cuneo because of there's no way you can actually get him. You can't get him with diamonds. If you do have him, the only way to upgrade him is through robots. Now would I advise you using robots to upgrade him at this time? Hell no. But he's still a good trainer, just suffers from the game not wanting strength pitchers to be a thing. And that's literally the only thing he suffers from. Now you can still make a triple R player with Cuneo, and I've seen Korea players have triple R strength pitchers. It's possible to do so. You can use Cuneo, they use Leone, Regret, and they combine all them and make and do a billion runs and River City, and they get an RR player after doing all those runs. So it is possible. So still a good trainer. It just he suffers from the actual game. He has strength placement, brings UR gear as well. You know, back in the day, like I said, River City was the best scenario, and like at those times, he was literally the best trainer. Literally, if you go and see any old tier list, he would always be your #1 guy. But just times have changed. He's not as good anymore. Still a good trainer, just not somebody that I would suggest investing in. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't. But that's enough on Kuya. Regret. I'm going to put right here in S tier. He suffers from basically just being the strength pitcher. They haven't really did anything for strength pitchers in a while. And he's just a part of, hey, I'm a strength, so I'm not going to be as great that I could be because I'm strength. He still brings UR gear to the table. He has cleats. And he has an SP trigger rate as well. But I mean that's it. His events are they're okay. They're not bad events, not great events. He suffers, of course, from being ZK for a pitcher. That's the worst scenario you can be. Even worse than Pumas on pitching. Nobody's making ZK pitchers ever. At least in Pumas, you may get a good lucky run if you were to try to go in Pumas. But ZK, let's just be honest, nobody's making pitchers in ZK at all. That would be the worst scenario to ever try to make a pitcher. But he just suffers from being strength. Nothing really more or less to say. I wouldn't invest in him. If you got UR tickets, you can use them in mid game, but you're not going to use this guy in end game. He's just going to sit there and collect dust at the end. Belita. She is definitely RR tier. She brings a lot to the table as well. Now she doesn't have UR gear. Her super is it's a decent super. It'll be much better if she had a costume, but of course she doesn't have a costume. So, but with her, she's still without a costume. She's still RR tier. She has 2 scenarios: Shining Angels, which is meh. Then she has Elf Town, of course, which is the meta. She brings that training reward plus 15 int, which is huge for Elf Town. She also has a trigger rate as well, to 10%. And then, of course, you know, she has a personal training trigger rate, which you definitely want in Elf Town. She's part of the meta. She's good. Has really good events. Some of the best events in the game. So definitely a RR tier trainer. Definitely somebody you would want to invest in. Dragona. we're putting him right there in the bottom of the barrel again. Definitely don't invest in this guy. This guy has bad events. Now he has knuckleball, which is nice, but I mean, but outside of knuckleball, this guy does nothing for you, and I mean nothing at all. Doesn't have a trigger rate, doesn't provide placement. I mean, the guy he's just there. He's shining angels, of course. It's just nothing good about this guy that I would say, oh man, this is a trainer that you want to get. He's bad all around. Don't invest in him. His events are not even good events as well. If you get him through UR tickets for mid game, by all means, but definitely not somebody you should go out and spend for. Valentine. I'm gonna put Valentine right here in RR tier. And that's definitely where she belongs. She's probably on the R to RR tier to me. She is a good trainer. She brings UR gear. She has training reward all. So those parts is what's really good. She also does a rap report effect up. You definitely want that as well. Has Dex placement as well. Placement is huge. When a trainer has placement and training reward all, that's automatically top tier trainer. She's really good on those aspects. She just suffers from being Pumas, of course. If she was an Elf Town trainer, of course she would be right there in the RR tier. I mean, a triple R tier. But because she is Pumas, she suffers from that. But she's still really good. Good events, has good skills. Definitely one trainer that you want to invest in. Another reason that she's not really, like I said, in my top of the RR, is that you can only use her in the relief pitching side for your Elf Town decks. You know, you're gonna replace basically Hera and Rowena for pitching on both sides. But she's still really good, a good trainer, definitely that you want to invest in if you can get her. Leon. I'm going to put Leon right here in my S tier as well. Definitely not somebody I would say to invest in. And that's just the way it is with strength pitchers right now at this time. It's not something that I would like to say, but it is what it is. I mean, he has a trigger rate as well for strength. His events are actually decent events. It's just he's strength, he's Pumas. I mean, it's literally you can't find a way to really use him without force using him. He has knuckleball, which I love knuckleball, but it's just, you know, a lot of Dex pictures are now getting knuckleball too, so it's not even as rare as it used to be. There's just really no good way to use him. You know, you can force run River City all day, and you may end up getting a triple R with him if you have that max strength team, but it's just better in other ways that you can do it as well. But for me, he gets in my S tier. So Pluto to me is going to be R tier. He's MU, and in MU you actually can make triple R pictures, and people was making triple R pictures before Elf Town came along and was meta for pictures. So with Pluto, with I believe they were using Dragona in there, which like I believe is trash. Lilith, all that, they were using them to produce triple R pictures. So it was possible to go into MU and make triple R pictures, and he's part of the reason. Pluto brings his events they're good events. He has placement as well. He brings UR gear as well. I really have no problem with Pluto. He's a trainer that you can use and invest in, but it's just you have better options to me. Like you can go with the Elf Town deck, and I mean that's going to get you, as you saw, the best pitchers in the game. So it's just more of a why go for Pluto when you can definitely go in Elf Town and get it more on a consistent basis versus, you know, if you go into MU, you run the risk of the gyms and everything else, and that's more of a scenario problem than a training problem. But like I said, that it ties into Pluto as well. He has good events. Not a bad trainer to invest in if you're wanting to go the MU route for your pitching. Series, definitely RR tier. I probably put her on almost to RR tier as well. Series is a really good trainer. Has UR gear. Has your base training reward. Has placement. Her events are not as good as I would say Ditto or Embolitas, but she still has some really good events. Personal trigger, trading rate. I mean, she has it all. She's a really good trainer. She brings a UR cap as well, which is probably the last thing you want to buy when you're running these Elf Town decks, because as you see, your int, it's nothing but int trainers, and you have like a crap ton of int. But really good trainer, definitely on the high ends of the RR, almost to triple R. I would say what will push her to triple R is a costume. Her not having a costume brings her down just a tad. She's borderline OP. Probably, like, I would say she's the best. Well, I think Ditto's still the best Elf Town trainer. It's a pretty close race between her and Ditto, whoever you want to say, but she's really good. Definitely someone you want to invest in, for sure. Hater. I love Hater. I'm gonna put her in RRR tier. Even though she has her problems, her being dual makes her really good. Her being Pumas makes her really bad. But the reason why I put her in the RR tier is because in the Elf Town, she provides you and helps you a little bit with balancing that int. Her and Rowena. Rowena is not the best trainer. I know we haven't got to her yet, but her and Rowena sort of provides balance in the deck. And without Hater and Rowena providing that balance, in the little balance they provide, I don't know if this deck can exist. Most of your top tier pitchings for your Elf Town trainers are going to be when her and Rowena show up and provide you that really good balance. If you don't get that really good balance from her and Rowena, then it's just not, you're not going to really have that top tier Elf Town pitcher. She brings a glove. She has the 240% special training reward, which is huge. Plus 20% personal training trigger rate. Her UR skills, the level 3 gets sort of wasted. If I knew ISIS was coming along, I would have preferred they did it exactly like they did ISIS, where it's just it's just 2 relief pitching and then 2 perfect pitch. That way it could have just been a perfectly balanced board all across. So when you ran your relief pitcher in Elf Town, you would have had basically 2 resolve on both, starting pitcher resolve and relief pitcher resolve. But it didn't work out like that. But getting back to it, she is a really good trainer. She suffers from Pumas, of course, but she brings training reward dex plus 5, and then like I said, the 240% pitching trainer, and she brings a UR glove, which is a very good glove as well. She's dual. As you know how I feel about duels, all duels are needed. Now if you had to pick between her and Isis on who's better, it's by Isis beats her all day, but she's still a part of the Elf Town training deck. Definitely want to get her, definitely want to invest in her. Ditto and series, like I said, they're like neck and neck to me. Ditto's definitely in your RR tier. Really good trainer, has placement. Before he used to have special training trigger. They changed that to placement. I love placement much better than that. So Ditto got a unneeded buff to me because he was already good. The only thing that was wrong with Ditto back in the day, he didn't have a scenario. And once F-Town came out and they gave him that scenario in F-Town, Ditto's always been a really good trainer. Has some of the best events in the game, period. Ditto, best events in the game, has game reward plus 20%. I mean, he's just a great trainer. Plus 15% training base on top of the placement. Really good trainer to have. Definitely a must invest in. When a Ditto banner comes along, by all means go and get this guy. He is a trainer that literally you must have. Him in series are really close on who is better. And the good thing is you need them both on the F-Town deck. So I mean, you can't miss. So go and get this guy as soon as he comes along. Like some of the best events, a must get. Rowena, definitely on R tier for me. What makes her good is Isis. She just meshes well with Isis. Outside of Isis, she's really bad. And she does, her events are trash. I'm gonna be honest. She doesn't have good events. She brings some cleats. Her cleats, they're okay. They're not the best cleats in the game. Like honestly, like Yomi has like some really good pitching cleats, but nobody's running Yomi anymore. But she's not really a good trainer, but you do need her to fit into the F-Town deck. So, like I said, anything from R to RR is good, guys. So it's not like I'm saying that she's worthless. You do need her. You do want to invest in her, but I definitely would not aim for her for my first pitching trainer. You know, I would go and get everybody else and then come and get her last. One of the things she is good at providing and doing, she does bring balance to the table. Like I was saying with Haether, her and Haether provide you getting a lot of decks to sort of try to counterbalance all the imp that you will be getting. So that's one of the positive things about her. Her super is okay to me. It's not great, but a lot of people do use her super because of the costume that you can get from her. With Leone, guys, we're gonna put Leone in the S tier. Leone suffers once again from being strength. Has a real bad scenario as well. She does provide UR gear. She has cleats, and she has the plus 15 to the base strength as well. But outside of that, there's no placement. Like I said, she's knights, so those are bad events. Her actual events that she do have, that she does have good events, but it's just the meta. Strength is just in a bad position right now. And until strength changes just in position, they get some help. I think all your strength pitching is going to be pretty low tier. It's just not something I would invest in. When you're better off investing in anywhere from like any of the other 3 attributes than you are in strength right now. Strength is just in a bad spot. Hopefully it changes in the future, but as of now, definitely not somebody I would invest in. Okay, now with Eve, I'm gonna say Eve is going to be in your R tier, low R tier. Of course, you could possibly put her in S tier. The only reason I'm putting her in R tier, she does have some good events. She does have a mid-game use. She's of course not in the in-game F-Town. She suffers again from Pumas, which a lot of trainers do. God, whichever in Pumas, man, we just right off the bat we know how bad you got it. She does bring UR gear as well. She brings a cat. She has training reward all, which is like really good. She has personal training trigger rate, really good as well. her fault is she's a skill point trainer. Skill point trainers right now have it bad. Nobody's running skill point trainers. Everybody's using god books. Skill point trainers have no use in the game right now, and that's what she suffers from. Now in mid game, you may find some use from her from making some picture decks in mid game, but in game she's just not going to be there. So the investment won't pay off as well if you invest in it. If you got her from some UR tickets or something like that, by all means, of course, use her in your mid game. But she does fall off. But if she wasn't a skill point trainer, she would be pretty amazing. Like I said, having a UR cap, having a training reward all. I mean, those are things you actually look for. But it's just she's skill point. You know. Like Violet's actually really good, being the only gold trainer, and like she brings so much, but it just doesn't work for skill point trainers. Now she's not as bad as Psyker, which to me is like the worst pitcher in the game. But she's not top tier. Okay, now for Isis, we're gonna use this copy of Bastet. And of course, you know, for Isis, we're gonna put Isis right up there at the top. Isis is OP. She is the best pitching trainer in the game. She is freaking amazing. With Isis, I mean, she literally has no faults. She pairs better with Rowena if you have her. And then you just complete her and put them into the Elf Town pitching deck and watch the magic happen. She's truly amazing. Great events. Brings UR gear. Has the personal trigger rate. Has the 240% training reward. Duel. Now her duel is not as great as, like I said it. If she was in decks, of course, like Hater, super OP with the scenario. But I mean, the mint really doesn't help too much because if you're really not aiming for that or going to really use that, there's no other trainer to help boost that as well. So her being the mint is actually like a downfall, but I mean, she's still in, and yeah, she's just freaking amazing with all the stuff she brings to the table for your Elf Town pitching deck. Definitely the glue. Definitely want her. This would be the first trainer I would invest in Elf Town if I had to. You know, her being first, Hater being second, then just go ahead and start getting all the others. But yeah, she's top tier. She's meta. Get her. Nothing more to be said. Lilith. Lilith to me is going to go right in the RR tier. Definitely a good trainer to have. She definitely has uses. Definitely should get her if you can, and if you're aiming for those top tier closing pitchers. Now you can make a closing pitcher with Elf Town and really not go for Lilith and Violet and whatever if you don't want. But if you want top tier catcher, she's gonna be in all your top tier catchers decks. And what I was saying earlier, if you want to go and make a MU pitcher period, I mean, you're gonna use Lilith. Like, she is the glue to that. She brings your training reward mental. She brings your trigger rate. She has placement. She has UR gear. I mean, she has it all. If Elf Town didn't come out, and then she would be up there in triple R. But because of Elf Town has came out and replaced the meta of pitching, that's why she has fallen to the double R. But still a good trainer to have. Somebody, if you do want to make the best closing pitcher possible, she will be needed. And that's just period, end of story. She has good events as well. Definitely, you can't go wrong with her if you're wanting to go that route. Now, if you're going to Dolphin as I would, I mean, I'm going to have to get her through UR tickets. But I just want to say that she's really good. But if you're going to Dolphin or not really want to spend, definitely should be aiming to get her through UR tickets. So for Claris, we're gonna use this picture of Lew. So for Claris, we're gonna put right here in the S tier to me. We're using this picture of Lew for her once again. Me personally, I don't like her or would say to invest in her. She has some stuff now, and maybe it's too early. But right now to me, she has no use. She doesn't mix well. Her skill set is very, very weird. Nothing goes with her. I've tried personally trying to put her in decks, and I just can't make her work no matter what. She's just not a good trainer on her skill set, even though she has so many good actual abilities. She has training reward all. She has placement. She has rapport effect. Like, I mean, it's so many good things, and I still can't make her fit because of her skill set is so bad. Me personally, I say don't invest in her until a later time. She may become good, but right now to me, she's not somebody I would say, hey, go and get this person. Definitely not worth it. Okay, and for Echo, we're gonna use this picture of. We're gonna use this guy. Okay, for Echo, we're just gonna place Echo in S tier. Echo's not somebody I would say to invest in. Echo has no scenario as well right now. The skill set's a lot better than Claris, but just really has nothing going for him. For Echo, I would say, like, there's no placement, there's no training reward at all. He just a base dex pitcher, plus, I mean, I don't see why you would want to invest in him with what he has. I mean, he does bring knuckleball again, but like, until we get like a dual knuckleball picture, I mean, that's not going to be something that's too important right now at this time. Hopefully he raises in stock and value, but as of now, I wouldn't say he would be somebody to invest in. So for my tier right now, he's going to be an S tier. I would like to raise him and even Claris up, but I just don't see a point in getting them right now at this time when they're not meta. They don't bring anything to the table. There's no in-game plan for them, so why spend those hard-earned diamonds on players like that? Okay, with that said, guys, that's gonna be my tier list. Once again, that's not Bastet, that's actually Isis right there at the top, right there next to Aether. That's gonna be your two best bang for your buck on your pictures. They're RRR tier to me. You cannot go wrong with them. They're gonna be there for your mid game, your end game, your all game. Definitely invest in them. And you definitely are very, very valuable. Some of the best pictures in the game that you can have. My RR tier, I have Ceres, I have Ditto, I have Lilith, I have Violet, I have Belita, and I have Valentine. Those are going to be your RR tiers. They are your great trainers. You want to invest in them, get multiple uses from mid to end game as well. These trainers still will be in your end game. You cannot go wrong with having them in your deck. They'll still be available for your end game as well. Your R tier is gonna be characters still good to invest in, but they're gonna be from your starting game to about your late mid game. You're gonna start phasing these out. All these but Rowena. Rowena will still be there in your end game. I just don't believe Rowena is the person responsible for making your decks triple R. Y'all can dispute me all you want on that, but that's just my personal opinion. But these are going to be still good trainers, but they definitely get phased out. So these are going to be your R trainers. You know, like I said, good to great. Some of these you can't invest in anymore, as we know with Cuneo. You got Pluto as well, Rowena, and you got Eve. Good trainers, you know, that you can have, but not anything to go and try to like, oh, I need these guys. And in my S tier, trainers that are just, hey, we got them for a UR ticket and that's it. It's gonna be Leon, Regret, Leone, Claris, and Echo. Don't go out and spend on these guys, man. Just let the tickets give you these guys, and if you got use for them, then use them. Otherwise, they're not worth your time actually pulling for. And the worst trainers you can have in the game, if you want to pit these guys in the Yeet Cannon all day and not even worry about maxing these guys, then you should do so with Psyker and Dragona. These guys have no use in the game. They're not meta. They suck. Damn! They need major buffs to even become decent. Definitely the two worst UR pitchers in the game to me, and with Psyker being right there at dead last. Like, he has no use in the game right now. Worst pitcher in the game. But with that said, my guys, that's going to be it for today's video. It's your boy Johnny Do. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. Peace.